Hi friends, welcome back to the channel Relocate with Kaia. I'm Kaia. I provide online support via coaching and consulting with families, individuals, and employees that are looking to move abroad. And on our channel, Rich and I discuss our own personal journey of moving from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Johannesburg, South Africa with our beautiful daughter Nina. And today we are going to be talking about the things that we miss about America. Or is it America or Philly? America.
The States, America.
The States.
North America. Philly. Well, you know.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be talking about. But I also wanted to share that Rich and I got our first proper bride invite that we'll be going to on Thursday for Human Rights Day. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to that. So.
I know you are. I mean, he literally, I'm like, well, Rich, we don't have to because of your, your ankles, or excuse me, your Achilles heel situation. Mm-hmm. He's like, nope, I will not. What did you say earlier about not Nina's relationships with her friends?
Oh, I don't know exactly what I said, but I will not allow my situation to stifle her.
That's right.
Her life. So
yes, because it's one of Nina's friends at school. Yeah. The parents invited us, so we're actually pretty excited about going to our first bride.
Yeah, so, it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That sort of rolls right into, at least for me, some of the stuff that I miss about Philly, about the States. We've touched on the things that we don't like and all that, but like primarily for me, it's family, obviously, not being able to be in contact and spend time with them, and friends also, and then all of the things that come along with having that, core group of people that you're in contact with.
Yes.
So much like a bride, it would be barbecues back home, and also as we talked about before, football Sundays and
yes.
things like that. So those are the things that I miss the most, sort of the camaraderie, the hanging out, not thinking of it now, used to do poker games every once in a while,
yeah.
But that kind of thing didn't do it as often as we probably could or should. It got stagnant, or it's like, oh, we'll do it next weekend, like right. That sort of thing. I know all of that will come in time, like once we start making more connections and more like I said, connections with folks here, we'll maybe be able to recreate some of that in this environment. But as of now, we're keenly aware of like, hey, we had all of this back in one area and we have yet to recreate or make our own way in that regard here.
Yes.
So that's my number one.
Okay.
I don't know if we would go back and forth or.
Well, you guys, I only have one. So.
Okay. Well, you can do your number one.
Okay. I really, really, really tried hard to think about things that I miss. Now, this may change over time, but we've only been here a little over 6 months, so I can only come up with one thing at the moment, and that is, what Rich said, which is family and friends. Like, that is the thing that I definitely miss the most. I definitely consider my friends family. And I think, during COVID, because we took it very seriously in the States, like we had a hardcore group of friends that we hung out with, and they were kind of like our pod.
Yeah. We were very fortunate in that regard. There was a bunch of people like in a similar situation with kids similar age. So that was a very fortuitous situation, like on our immediate block.
Yes. The street that we lived on, everyone kind of had kids around the same age, and like we were all stuck at home, and and we all practiced the same COVID restrictions, so we were all very careful. So having those relationships and those connections fostered deeper relationships. So I think for me, like I miss my friends, and I miss my family, and Nina misses her grandparents. We have to tell her often that we're going to see Pop and Grandma very soon. So when she says stuff like that, that makes me a little sad. But yeah, it's really the relationships that we built during COVID, and Nina's little friends back at home. She misses them too. But yeah, that's all I got. That is it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like things are going to come in time. Like when we moved to California, it was just the two of us. We knew literally no one.
That's true.
And then, what was it 5? We were there 5 years? Almost 6 years. Like we still are in contact with folks that we met out there to this day, 20 years later.
Yeah.
Like, so yes, it will happen. It can happen, but just like on a day-to-day basis, it's like, oh, why don't I have these connections yet?
Right.
But it'll happen in time. So
I'm not worried about that.
No, I'm not. Long term, I'm not either.
Right.
It's just one of those things now. It's kind of like, oh, there's a stark difference.
Yeah.
I guess the only other main thing that I miss at times is some of the food. Now, it's not healthy. It's not the best thing in the world, but there are times where I'm craving a cheesesteak, a hoagie, an occasional soft pretzel.
Soft pretzel.
But stuff that I just can't get here. Some of the pizza, pizza's a very
don't do it.
Volatile subject. But there's a couple places in Philly that I thought had really good pizza, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to have a little bit of that now.
Yes.
I know cheesesteaks are a Philly thing. Like, not folks outside of Philly, like, can't get a decent one. I don't care what you say, how good it is.
You couldn't get a good one in California.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. The place said Philly on the thing, and it's just
no, wait. The place down the street from the apartment, didn't they sell cheesesteaks, or was the burgers? It was the burgers.
Burgers, yes.
Okay, sorry.
So, quick aside, at one of our apartments in San Diego, the place down the street was called Rockies, and they had delicious hamburgers, particularly if you were a little banged up from the night before and you need some nice greasy hamburger.
Yes.
And I have no evidence to back this up, but in Anchorman, I think the place was called Rockies.
Right.
Don't know if it's the same thing or not, but this place that was down the street from ours was a bit of an institution.
Yes.
So I don't know if there was any connection there, but I like to think that there was.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that, Rich's tangent.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought they sold cheesesteaks, but they did not.
Nope, burgers. But speaking of places, Philly, like if you look at any of the sporting events, they're going to show you the beautifully neoned Pats and Geno's in South Philly.
Yes.
Please go down and take a picture. I think they're only good for photo ops.
That's right.
I do not recommend them. I'm not sure if they've rebuilt gyms on South Street, but they were really good. Ishkabibbles on South Street is delicious. D'Alessandro's is awesome. So there's several places where you can get a much better cheesesteak than that.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, if anyone would like to tell us their favorite restaurants in the Joburg area that we can check out, I'm all for that.
Okay.
I have a very I'll try anything once sort of palate. So as long as it's not hot.
Thank you. That is a huge caveat.
If it's hot, I will look like I ran a marathon after the first bite.
So, that's right. Yes.
Other than that, please let us know. Where you recommend. But I think overall, in thinking about like this, like what do we miss?
Yeah.
I think one of the things is like I don't want to fall into a level of complacency, like we could have played more poker games or gotten together more often, that sort of thing.
Right.
Here, I think we're still in that phase where we're willing to explore and do things we normally wouldn't do.
Yes.
I know recently we were on that Red Bus tour.
Yeah.
So in Philly, stuff like that, you're never going to catch me on one of those. They have them there. They have duck boats, or at least they did.
That's right.
Never.
Someone died, so I think. Well, no, they came back after. I think they reopened it.
They did?
Yeah, I think they did.
I don't know if the duck boats are still going. So long and short of it is like those beach landing craft they had in like World War II, like they're a big truck and then they can drive into the water and float around. That was the duck boat. So they tour you around the city and then take you into the river and tour you around out there.
Yes.
There's oil tankers and stuff, and they got a little mixed up in the traffic signals, and they sunk one of them. But so
and someone died, right?
Someone died. Yeah.
Yes.
Short aside to that, my overall point is like I want to keep the feeling.
Yeah.
And encourage everyone else, no matter where you're living, is to like be open to exploring stuff that's in your own city.
Yes.
I mean, I would say like, that's for tourists. I'm not going down there. Or like, the last time I went to such and such museum was with school.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
but
The art museum.
Art museum or but there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
That's around to do and see. And you might have to see them through the eye of a tourist, or if you have a kid, sometimes you see things again through the eyes of your kid, which I think is great.
Right.
I don't want to get to a point again where I'm like, just dismissing stuff and cutting stuff off just because
we live here. Right, or we can do it any weekend or any day of the week. Yeah, no, I think so. When we lived in San Diego, which if you're familiar with San Diego, their most popular things other than like the climate and the beaches is SeaWorld and the zoo, the San Diego Zoo. So those are like two big attractions. We lived there almost 6 years, like Rich said, and we did not go to either of those until my sister and brother-in-law came with the kids.
Yeah.
Like we lived literally.
We could have walked to SeaWorld.
We could have walked to SeaWorld.
So,
sorry, you guys.
3 minutes left.
Sorry, you guys. But yeah, we live right up the street from, we could have, like Rich said, we could have walked to SeaWorld, and we never went until my sister came with the kids and we checked it out. So we definitely don't want to make the same mistake doing that here in Johannesburg. So then we're up for whatever for the most part.
Yes.
So kid friendly and, otherwise. Cause
non-spicy.
That's right. Kid friendly, non-spicy. So please shower us with recommendations if you could be so kind. What else you got?
Yeah, no, that's about it. That's the only thing.
So food and family. So you only had one more thing than what I had.
That is, I've doubled your list. I mean,
you did.
Done twice as much as you did.
You did.
And I mean, like you copied mine, so I mean.
Okay. Now Rich is being egregious, but now I feel like because Rich just ran off a litany of things that you guys obviously that are in Johannesburg would not be familiar with. So now I'm going to be forced to include in this video imagery of these things. So I know someone requested that in the comments. So now you are actually giving me a reason too. So yes. So I hope you'll enjoy the imagery that is going to come along with this video.
Good luck Googling Ishkabibbles.
Oh, well. I'm going to give you generic pictures of cheesesteaks and the duck boat. But anyhow, so I don't know if it's indictment on America that we only missed, myself, one of the things, and for Rich, 2 things. But that is where we're at, a little over 6 months in. And and I really, really, really try to, think of things that I missed, and there really isn't anything. And I definitely think, because by the time we had to leave, by the time we moved, I was done with America. So I feel like I didn't have a whole lot of, I was just ready to go. So I think this early in, I definitely don't feel like I miss anything about being there, but the people, our family and friends by far are the only things that I miss.
Yeah, I don't want to get cliched about missing the first day of fall or any of that stuff. Like the first like crisp day, like that sort of stuff.
But no, this morning was actually pretty crisp. Like that's why I got a long sleeve shirt because
it doesn't really get crispy here.
Well, it's still fall, so I'm gonna bust out my fall colors. But sorry guys, the video cut off again. But yeah, so I thought I'm getting into the headspace of fall because South Africa says it's fall. So, but yeah.
It still feels like summer, spring. And San Diego had very similar climate where it seemed to be nice all the time.
Right.
And eventually it was like, man, I'd love a nice cold day every once in a while. Like, I'm not saying like I miss shoveling snow or any of that stuff. But I mean, there is something to be said about having the 4 distinct seasons.
Yes. No, I agree.
No. When you're in it, you're like, oh, I want it to be summer. And then when you're in summer, like, oh, I wish it was winter because it's so hot. But,
No, I'll take fall, spring, and summer. You 100% can have winter. And I do feel like you do have, we've been here we came in August, so what would that be? Winter?
Winter, I think.
Winter and summer, now we're experiencing fall. And so far, all of it's been lovely. So, so that's all we got, you guys. We miss some things about America, but you know, we definitely are love being here in Johannesburg, and we're not wanting for anything other than, you know, some family and friends and a cheesesteak every now and again. So, yeah, that's it. So, thank you for watching. We, of course, appreciate, we appreciate you guys just taking the time out of your day to watch our silly videos. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks.